I have to record this dream because it was a prophetic dream. It was really a long dream, as dreams go. It was multifaceted. There was a lot of different areas of it. First of all, it's like I got a call that a club in Memphis wanted me to go back to work there. That's a recurring dream. I have that dream a lot, that I'm back at a club in Memphis working, and I'm here better now. That I'm back in Memphis working, and that's a recurring dream. So I get to this club, and this guy's there. I'm DJing. Okay, I'm DJing with sucky equipment, like equipment that's not very good, that doesn't hardly work right, which was something that was an issue a lot with some of the clubs, was that their equipment didn't work right. Most of the time, there was always a problem with the equipment. It's just like, maybe that's not really the way it was. Maybe like the equipment worked most of the time, but it really bothered me when it wasn't working. So I remembered it. Anyway, I digress. I get to the club, and I'm DJing, and this guy shows up. This guy that I'll leave nameless here, but he was like a key DJ that I was always working at a club with. His name's Robert. I won't leave him nameless. So, I'm in this club, and he has this distinctive voice. He's in my book as Hick. He has this distinctive voice, and he comes in the club, and comes up in the DJ booth, and he's not mad at me, and I'm not mad at him or whatever, but we always kind of had this rivalry that was, like competitive kind of in nature, but there was this like kind of deep-seated kind of like maybe dislike of each other, that on the outside we kind of were friends, but there was this rivalry anyway. So I get on the mic and I do his voice and I say, "Wow," or whatever it was, that I sounded like him. In the dream I sounded just like him. And one person in the club laughs, because there wasn't a lot of people there yet. It was mostly just dancers that were there. For some reason there were a lot of dancers there. I didn't know any of the dancers. There wasn't a manager there that I knew. It was like everything had changed since I've been away from Memphis for so long, except that guy was there that I knew. Okay, so then I have to make a page mark in what I'm telling you, to remember that when I did my impression of the guy's voice, just saying, "Well," all goes black. Wake up, the music had stopped. That kind of happens in this recurring dream of the equipment not working right. As part of it, there'll be no music. That was always something that was a big no-no in the club. Was to hold on a second. We were never supposed to have what they call dead air. We were never supposed to do that, because that drives away business. People will get up and leave. So there was dead air, and we were trying to figure out what was wrong with the equipment or whatever. And basically I figured out that we didn't have any CD players that would work. So it wasn't my fault that there was no music. Literally none of the CD players would work. Then I had my phone that I have now. It was my phone that I have now in the dream. It was in it, and there was a duplicate of it, like in my backpack. And over the course of just a few minutes, both of the phones started to disintegrate, like there was some type of electromagnetic energy affecting my phones, causing my phones to disintegrate. And oddly enough, I remarked to somebody, I started talking about my mom having telepathic powers or what, some kind of crazy stuff. I said, I bet that my mom's doing that to my phones because she doesn't want me to work in Memphis, because she doesn't like when I've worked in Memphis, worked in these clubs. So I was like scrambling trying to find the SD cards for the phones, and I got the two SD cards that like go in the side of the phone. One for the main one and one for the duplicate, And then come to find out there was a duplicate card in each phone on the inside of the processor, like a hidden SD card. So that's kind of really weird that ended up with all the rest of the phone disintegrated. So all that I was left with was four SD cards. Whereas that I know of, my phone only holds one SD card and I only have one phone. So like 3 extra SD cards, making a total of 4 SD cards. Okay, that's only the first part of the dream. Then, for some reason, I find that I have this weird looking device. It looks almost like, it's shaped almost like, I don't know what it's shaped like. Weird, like with a handle on it. And then when you hold the handle up and looking at it, like if you were pointing a spotlight or something, what would be the back of the spotlight, there was a screen there, and this thing was like an emergency internet. Like I had it somewhere in my backpack, and I pulled it out and I had to turn it on. And when I turned it on, the first thing that popped up was my Gmail. So I checked my email, and I wrote my girlfriend an email saying, phone lost, and I had to give her, my another phone number. Okay, so then with that in mind, all of a sudden, I'm at John and Fonda's house. And they start freaking out because there was a big explosion down the street at my mom's house. So they go down there and check. While they check, I'm looking at this thing, I'm checking my email, and looking at this, looking at the internet on this thing, Facebook and Twitter, I'm like going through the regular, checking everything and like kind of freaking out. Well, somehow I get in contact with somebody that was at the club in Memphis. The night, almost like it was like the next morning or very, very early in the morning hours of the night that this happened in the club, with my phone's blowing up and there being no music. This person tells me, I start talking to them, and they're like kind of almost amazed that it's me talking to them. Apparently I was video conferencing with them, and so I start asking them, like, I don't know why, but I had this thought to ask them. I had a stroke in the club last night. And they just shake their head, yes. And I said, describe it to me. It was Stephanie, my Facebook friend, who was a dancer friend throughout the years. I said, describe it to me. She said, you just started convulsing all over, and then she just trailed off after that. So back to John at Fonda's house, they come back and come to find out the explosion was, this huge explosion in Mom's house down the street from them is just destroyed, during the early morning hours or late night hours, So the dream ends that we're looking at this live video feed of this weird looking little bitty puff smoke cloud looking going over this landmass, and when we're in Hawaii. My coffee's making this. I'm getting to the end of the dream and my coffee's finished making too. It's kind of weird. We're in Hawaii, but we had this like zoomed in like satellite view. We're looking down on the islands and we're watching the clouds go over, and the clouds are moving at like 100 miles an hour across Hawaii. Then we see boats going across these waves, Then we had to, for some reason, the world geography wasn't right. Like, we were in Hawaii, but we had to make a hard right turn at Fiji to get still in the continental United States, and these waves are just going on. These boats are just being rocked by these waves and like going underwater and all kind of crazy stuff. And I said, when we get to Fiji and have to make that right turn, we're going to get smashed on the rocks. And that's the way the dream ended. But I just thought that was really odd. Odd enough, I guess, for me to make a video of me talking about it, but that's the way I was trained to do. Is when you wake up from a dream, you have to tell all the parts of the dream, write it down or something, or you'll forget it. So that was the dream. Really weird. See you next time on Young and Freud with Kendall. I didn't time date this. It's Sunday, August the 17th. At 7:15 in the a.m. See you later. Peace out.